Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time today. Thank you, Reed Corporate, for running such a brilliant conference. Greetings to our friends in Queensland and elsewhere. Hopefully we'll be there next year. One of the unique things about Breaker is that we have a brand new greenfields gold district in the heartland of Australian mining. Keep in mind, Australia is now the world's largest gold producer. This is where most of the gold comes from. Interestingly, this new gold district is between two operating mines. We pegged it in 2014. We pegged it on first principles, and the reason for that was we're confident about the notion of there being hidden deposits underneath all that brown stuff you see around Kalgoorlie, transported cover. I'll break this presentation down into a one-slide summary, or leading to about a four-slide summary, and then we can go a bit quicker through the other stuff, which is more perception-type material. The usual disclaimer. One of the other unique things about Breaker is that we have strong US shareholding. Some very well-known names on the register for a company, which is unusual for a company with about a market cap of about $90 million. About a month ago, Peter Cook joined us as non-exec chairman. So I'm absolutely thrilled to have the likes of Peter on board, the calibre of Peter and his past achievements in building companies, building mines. It's going to be fantastic for us. And he joins other individuals, long-term mining types. So we have a good register. We're well cashed up for the moment. And it's looking very interesting. I should touch on our strategy here. It's an emerging gold district. Initially, we took the typical Australian approach, set up an early development option, which is a large pit. Now, we've done that. The Americans got on board and said, well, look, the share price isn't really in your favour at the moment. Why not make it bigger and better? So for the last year and a half, that's exactly what's happened. The gold district is 9 kilometres long. It's well understood, and the reason for that is because we've been drilling continuously and with positive results over the last 5-6 years. We've drilled 300,000 metres. It's the most common mineralisation style in Australia. It has the attributes of scale, grade, as well as location and demonstrated kilometric scale continuity. We've established a resource of 1.4 million ounces. It increased by 40% in April from 3 new areas, including a maiden underground resource. The next resource is in the next 2 to 3 months. The gold starts 5 metres from surface. In the open pit area, which is about 3 kilometres long, the mineralised zone is 150 metres wide. So fantastic for an open pit. What attracted, I believe, from brief conversations with Peter in terms of what attracted him to the company were these game-changing high-grade lodes we've been hitting underneath that open pit option. As I said, the strategy is to take that early development option and make it bigger and better, and it is going that way. Technical studies in the background are at PFS level, metallurgies at feasibility level, no obstacles. We've got 50 kilometres of strike. Now, what's interesting is, in my view, you can have all this for free because our non-core assets, and I don't talk about them much, are very good. We found outcropping spodumene 15 kilometres from our main gold deposit in the course of looking for gold. We drilled there recently. Results will be out, I expect, in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I expect to be able to put a resource on it with little or no extra drilling. We have another project, 100 kilometres out of Perth, in the northern area, not far away from Chalice, Very exciting. This is what it looks like. No mining legacy issues. There's not much to see, and that's why it's been missed before. It's about 5 to 10 metres of transported cover. But the gold is sitting directly underneath that, and it is deep as we've drilled. So soils don't work. We use wide-spaced air core drilling instead to guide the initial entry point for RC and diamond drilling. We're now looking side-on at the main deposit. First point here, first observation is scale. You're looking at something that's 3.7 kilometres long. The Harbour Bridge there is to scale, it's about 500 metres. We're getting high grade at surface, as you can see there. Now what's coloured in red are the intersections from the last year or so. Outstanding. What it says is that open pit is going to go underground, and we're still establishing the ultimate dimensions of this. You see 4,000 to 5,000 metres, 4,000 to 5,000 ounces per vertical metre in the open pit area. Below that is less, but that's purely related to the amount of drilling we've done. This is open in all dimensions. That image on the right, what you were just looking at is where you have that cluster of purplish dots, is part of a 9-kilometre gold zone. In the resource update we did in April, we put out maiden resources on 2 satellite deposits to the north and the south. That red image in the background, because all you're seeing there is the RC and diamond holes, is based on gold in air core drilling, about 2,000 holes. And that's saying that 9 kilometres is lightly drilled. The structure we're seeing in the main deposit, we can now confidently trace into the cyanide, into the granite to the right. We've hardly got any holes in it, so we already understand the structure. And we know we've got gold there, we just don't know how much. Again, we've taken the time to establish kilometric scale continuity. What that means is you've got continuity that seriously de-risks your mining, and you make finding gold a whole lot easier. This is how the market is valuing our ounces. Plenty of room to grow. What that says to me as an investor, and yes, I'm a shareholder, what it says is compelling de-risked downside and very serious upside. So that's the brief summary. So now we can sort of stand back a little and look at some of the perception type slides. This is where we are. Directly along strike from Lancefield and Laverton deposits, Wallaby, Sunrise Dam, and across the road on the same rift zone as Kalgoorlie. It's where you expect to find big deposits. This is a summary of the background in terms of how we found it. I won't go into the detail here, but we found it on first principles. Probably the most important point here is the last one. We didn't get into serious extensional drilling away from the main deposit. We started that only in 1920. And you saw some of the results highlighted in red on the images previously. This is just to give you another perception of the scale. Golden Mile in the middle, Bombora on the left. You can pick one up and see, oh, it's similar dimensions. Now, importantly, I am not comparing the endowment, but the geology is exactly the same. 3 stacked lode orientations in the upper part of a dolerite. You can take all these intersections, and there's been many of them, and you can wireframe them, and you get good coherent shapes that go for kilometres. For flat lodes, for steep lodes, for west dipping lodes. The image on the bottom gives you a sense of the drill density. So this is limited still by the amount of drilling we've done. This is what it looks like. It's always good to see. Stacked steep lodes, stacked flat lodes, stacked west dipping lodes, all behaving geometrically as they should, as any structural geology textbook says they should behave, which is perfect. If you look at this in cross-section, on the left, what you see is something, you're seeing there the three load orientations, something that's 150 metres wide. Perfect for open pitting. Translates to low strip ratio, translates to good ounces per vertical metre, with grade, with continuity. This is what the high-grade flat lodes look like in isolation. And any underground miner looking at that will be licking his lips. But you've got grade, you've got continuity, you've got the key ingredients for successful underground mining. That's the flat lodes. Steep lodes, we're seeing the same thing. Arguably better. Look at some of those grades in the core. Look at some of those grades in the long section. We're drilling step-out holes on 80 metre intervals. Pattern on the last three holes is visible gold on 80 metre step-outs. And 80 metres is a long way. That Penny North resource in the middle there, shown at the same scale as this long section, Ramelius paid 300 mil for that last year. We can pick that up and put it into one of our steep lodes. Our market cap is in the order of $90 million. The 9 kilometre gold system is open along strike. We've recently done some drilling to the north at Wynwood. Results should be out soon. I don't normally have this in the main presentation, but seeing we're putting results out in a couple of weeks, I thought it's useful to tell you a little bit about it. As I said, we found this while looking for gold, sticking out of the ground. What's outcropping is 750 metres long. It's part of a 5 kilometre system. We know that from geochem that we've done, auger geochem. So that's very interesting. Lithium at the moment is very topical. We've got another interesting project. 100 kilometres from Perth, in the Chalice area. But if you look at some of those bullets, such as 20 kilometres of mafic ultramafic belt, untested, but with anomalous nickel PGE and untested ground EM targets. The holes have been designed for us, in some cases. Then we've got fantastic intersections. So we will look after shareholders. The board are shareholders, we think, and act like shareholders. Discoveries are rare, new gold districts in Tier 1 locations even more so. So the strategy over the last year and a half after the Americans have joined us has been very successful. What we're doing, I believe, is combining the best of the Australian and American approaches. Proven management, strong register, good gold configuration both in the pit and underground. Some serious near-term catalysts in terms of ongoing drill results, resource updates, potentially a resource on the lithium. Ongoing news flow from Yularing as well. Thank you very much for your attention.